this sounds like a lot. And the reason I'm sharing this with you is to show that it's possible to live a very fulfilling, well rounded life. And doing all this can be peaceful as well as harmonious and productive. You can grow in multiple areas of interest, skills, talents, passions in a very gentle, harmonious way and just make progress with ease and with flow. Hello, hello, hello! Welcome back to the Feel Good Factor. I'm Susmita Veganosaurus and I'm so glad you could join me here today. Hey there, thanks for joining. If this is your first time here, you're listening to the Feel Good Factor, a podcast about making joy, fun, and deep fulfillment your highest priority through every aspect of life, whether it's work, home life, creativity, business, prioritizing feeling good through all of it. Now, if you have been listening to the past few episodes of the podcast, you know that I've been talking about being multi-passionate quite a bit. What does it mean to be a multi-passionate? It's a person who has various interests, talents, skills, and wants to pursue all of them and progress and grow and develop all of it. A multi-passionate person is never satisfied doing just one thing, taking one path in life. We like to have our hands in various projects, various activities at any given point of time in our lives. Now, it might seem like this is an unfocused way to live and you can't achieve much or you can't progress while you're doing this. Or it could seem like this could be an overwhelming thing to do. For example, on any typical week in the recent times, these are the various things I've been up to. I take a weekly spirituality related course, and then I do one other online course. Plus, I get a lot of reading done. I'm learning Hawaiian on Duolingo. And these are my interests that I'm just taking inwards. And then when it comes to being productive, I create one podcast episode a week. I do all the editing, publishing, and even the blog post and the transcript myself. I also have coaching sessions that I conduct for people running conscious businesses. I'm a holistic vegan business coach. Plus, of course, there's all the housework, the cleaning, cooking, doing things around the house in general. I get my chores done. And then to relax, I spend time doing some drawing, which I'm not very good at, but I do like doing it, some Zentangle, meditative arts, doodling, that kind of stuff. I just do that to relax myself. And I, of course, like most people these days, I binge watch a bunch of shows on Netflix. I like listening to classical music, and I do chanting and mantras and meditation practices every day. I know this sounds like a lot, and the reason I'm sharing this with you is to show that it's possible to live a very fulfilling, well rounded life. And doing all this can be peaceful as well as harmonious and productive. You can grow in multiple areas of interest, skills, talents, passions in a very gentle, harmonious way and just make progress with ease and with flow. So, just because you have multiple passions and talents doesn't mean you can't be productive and organized in a deeply fulfilling way. So, today I wanted to share 5 tools that have been extremely helpful for me over the past year. I've been leaning on these tools, using these to help me organize and maintain my sanity while I pursue all these interests and give me a kind of direction and help me be more disciplined so that I'm not just fluttering from one activity into another while having very short attention spans. Instead, I am able to focus on each activity that I do with a lot of interest, with a lot of discipline, and then I gently move on to other activities and so on and so forth, and again, a very harmonious and well rounded way. So, these are the tools that I've been using, and they've been very useful. I know some of these will seem extremely obvious and simple, but don't brush them aside because of that. Try them anyway. It's precisely in their simplicity that the power lies. So here we go. Tool number 1, calendar. Making use of the calendar app on your phone or on your computer. Now you can use a physical paper calendar too, but one advantage of using a digital calendar is so that you can set it off to ping. Whenever something important is coming up, you get a little ping, a little alarm, and you know that, okay, this is coming up. So you don't have to worry about it. You can put your activities into the calendar, slot them, and then just forget about them. And the calendar will tell you what to do, when to do. So you're kind of leaning on outside help instead of you deciding what to do at any moment. This is especially helpful for activities that you've been putting off. Things that you think, I have so much of other work right now, I have something occupying my life right now, so I don't have time for this. That is the kind of stuff your calendar is especially useful for. Because if you want to develop a certain habit, like say reading, or if you want to be involved in a creative project of some kind and you've been putting it off because you're occupied with other stuff, even slotting it into your calendar for 30 minutes a day, even half an hour, that makes a world of difference, right? So you do this 5 days a week, you've already put in 2.5 hours involved in reading, creating, or doing that course that you've been wanting to do, all of it. So the calendar is a very, very useful tool to take advantage of. The second thing is something called the Pomodoro method. You might have heard of it, but basically, Pomodoro is just a fancy way of saying use a timer. So you take fixed slots of time. You batch your tasks into different blocks of time. Maybe 25 to 40 minutes is what usually people do. And then you turn off all your other devices, notification, whatnot. And this is very helpful when you want to be deeply focused and in the flow while doing something. And to do that, you turn off everything else and then you set your Pomodoro app or a timer to go off after those 25-40 minute blocks, whatever time blocks you have put. Once it pings, you take a break. And the break can be anywhere from 5 to 15 minutes. You can even alternate the lengths of the break. Like, okay, you do, 25 minutes of work, 5 minutes of break, 25 minutes of work, 5 minutes of break, then another 25 minutes of work, then 15 minutes of break, something like that. So you can alternate it that way. It brings you back memories of school days, how we didn't have to really worry about anything. We had, okay, first period this, the second period this, then the short break, then third period this. We didn't have too many things to think about. We just quietly followed the timetable that was set for us, attended our classes. That releases a lot of burden from your mind. And also knowing that you need to focus on a certain task only for this limited period of time is going to be helpful for you to get started on any task at all, especially things that you've been putting off, which you feel like they may not be a lot of fun to do, or, just all kinds of filler works that you need to get done out of the way. thinking that, okay, I'll just do this for 25 minutes and then whatever gets done, gets done. So that kind of a thing helps when you have difficulty committing. It also helps when you have very large projects or tasks and then you feel overwhelmed. So instead, if you set it into blocks of time and say that, okay, I'm going to work on this for 25 minutes, take a break, and then decide if I'm going to come back to this or not. And then you give all of your focus, your attention, yourself, you put it into the work. You just do it, and you'll be surprised to see how much progress you make in that short span of time. And you don't have to be overwhelmed if you feel like, okay, that was too much for today. You put it off for another day, for another block of time. So the Pomodoro method helps a lot. Now, the Pomodoro name, it basically means tomato, and that's because it's like these tomato shaped timers, so you just set the timer and then it clings, and then you set the timer again and it pings. Of course, there are apps now again which can be quite useful. Find a Pomodoro timer app online and you can see whichever one you get. The one that I use is called Be Focused Pro, and you can use that one, and then you can preset blocks of time with the breaks and everything, so you don't have to keep turning the timer and setting it again and again. It's all preset. You can decide, okay, I'm going to sit down to work for 3 hours now. So in those 3 hours, you can set blocks of times of, 25, 40 minutes, and then breaks, and then, again, work block, then break block, and things like that. And then you chunk your work that way, chunk your time that way, and then 3 hours are done and you've made a lot of progress. It's quite useful, and it sounds simple again, but when you try it, you realize that it really helps you be a lot more disciplined and make progress that way. The third tool is mind map. Now, mind maps are a way to take a big idea, something that might seem quite overwhelming, and then break it down into little bite-sized pieces, but in a very organized way, so that you have a kind of direction to follow. You take the core idea of any project and you put that in the middle of a piece of paper, and then you draw little lines out from it like sun rays, and then you write the sub ideas, sub areas of the project all around, and then you draw lines outward from each of those ideas, and then write the mini tasks involved to get that particular piece of the project done. This is something that's used while writing books, building a course, or anything creative or non-creative project. The mind map is used, and it's very useful because sometimes we have so many ideas stuck in our heads, and because we have all these ideas, all of them swirling in there, they are not able to come out. They're kind of stuck, they're kind of jammed. So creating a mind map is a way to shake these ideas out of our heads and onto a piece of paper. That helps you make everything into little bite-sized pieces, and then you pick up the mini tasks in whatever order you prefer and start working on them in chunks. And that makes any idea, any project so much easier to execute, which means that you are going to progress on that project at a much better, steadier pace. The fourth tool is Kanban boards. You have these different apps like Asana to help you organize these things, but people even do it with with post-it notes. Look this up for more details, but the idea is to manage your project in a very organized way. So you divide up the different verticals of the project into different columns, or even since you are a multi-passionate and you're working on multiple projects, you divide those into different columns, and then you put the little ideas under each column, the tasks under each column, and then you move things around also across each project as required if there are some overlaps and things like that. And as you get things done, you tick it off the column. It's quite simple, but it really helps you keep everything organized. Once you've organized everything out like this, when you decide, okay, today I want to do some work, but you don't know which project to work on, what area to focus on, what kind of tasks to get done, you just look at your Kanban board and then you just start picking things and doing them and getting things out of the way, and you feel so satisfied because your progress is being marked right there. You're getting things out of the way, and things from the top of the column just start getting moved to the bottom, whatever is done. Or you might even want to have a separate column where you can move the done tasks, and that way, even at any point in the project, you can track how far you've gotten, what you have remaining to do, what you have already done. This is also very helpful when you're working with somebody else and you're both sharing the work on a particular project without having to follow up with each other. You can track each other's progress too. So it's great for teams, but also as a solopreneur or a multi-passionate, it's very, very helpful to keep track of your various projects and interests and areas of work. And the final tool, the fifth one, is a have done list, maintaining a have done list. Now, we all know about to do lists, and we have these long to do lists in our planners, and as we get things done, we tick them off and whatnot. But to do lists can put a lot of pressure on you. You also feel like there's so much to do, and no matter how much you do, you feel as if you haven't got enough done. And this is just your mind playing tricks on you, because often we have progressed a lot more, we have accomplished a lot more than we believe. And because we have so many things, we put this pressure on ourselves, these expectations, and we think that, okay, enough is not done. So the have done list is the exact opposite of a to-do list, as the name says. So what you do is you get one task done, and once it's done, you put it on your have done list. And then you get another task done, and then you put it on your have done list. So that way, when you feel like, oh God, you've been working for many hours, but you think that you haven't really progressed, all you have to do is look at your have done list, and you feel such a release of burden. Like, you feel so much relief because you see that you have actually progressed quite a bit. It just doesn't appear to you that way because you're looking at all your tasks from up close. But when you go back and look at the big picture, you realize that having done all these tasks, you are progressing quite well and quite steadily. So it makes you feel like, oh wow, phew, I am doing good. And of course, that acts as a motivation, because the more you feel you're progressing, you'll want to progress some more too. So there is no space for that critical voice inside your head to say, you're not doing anything, you're not going forward, you're not progressing, you're not focused, you're not disciplined, blah, blah, blah. There's no space only for that voice, because you can shove the have done list in its face and be like, oh, listen, imaginary person inside my head, here, look at the have done list. So yes, I have done quite a bit. So yeah, these are the 5 different tools that I wanted to recommend to you today. If you want to dive deeper into working with these tools and practically implement them, and of course, many, many more tools and techniques and practices that will help you lead a harmonious, well-rounded, multi-passionate life, then join my course. It's a cohort-based course. It's starting on Friday, 21st April and ending on May 19th. That's also a Friday. We are going to have one lesson which is less than 10 minutes long every single day that you get. It's an pre-recorded audio lesson, and you listen to that, and then it gives you an action step, and you take that action step each day. So 5 days a week this happens. And then over the weekend, you want to catch up, have some questions, clarify things for yourself, you can do all that. And then on Monday, then again new lessons start. But also every Monday evening we have a live video call with the whole group. You can ask me your questions, we can all discuss our progress, share ideas with each other. So it's kind of like a course and a mastermind group. We are going to have a support group on the Telegram app. It's going to be a private group of only the participants, where questions can be asked and interactions can happen between the participants. And it is a very powerful thing, having a mastermind group and support, because I've done this. I have been a part of 2 masterminds in the past few years, and they've made a world of difference in my life. So I wanted to create this course with a mastermind component, so that you have that support system in place and accountability, so that you can keep progressing. So if you feel like you want to gently, peacefully, steadily, harmoniously progress in various areas of life, in various projects, focus on multiple things and yet keep growing in an organized, systematic way, then this course, Harmonious Multi-Passionate Life, is just for you. Go to my online academy, learnwith.veganosaurus.com. The link is also in the show notes. So go there and read more about this course, the Harmonious Multi-Passionate Life, and sign up, join us. And I would love to interact with you on the course. And of course, I hope all these tools that I shared with you will be very helpful for you, whether you join the course or not. I think the tools, these 5 tools, can be quite useful. Having a calendar, using the Pomodoro method, then creating mind maps for all projects, maintaining a Kanban board, and then making a habit of doing a have done list every single day. All these 5 tools, I hope these are going to be very, very useful to you. All right. Thank you so much for listening. I will talk to you again soon. Take care. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of The Feel Good Factor. I'm Susmita Veganosaurus, and I'm looking forward to talking to you again very soon. Bye.